So, hi everyone. So we have Sam Herbert on today. How are you doing, Pat?
How's it going, man?
All good. How are you? Yeah,
Good. Thanks very much for having me on.
no bother at all. So, first of all, where are you from?
Temple Oak, Dublin.
Temple Oak. Right? Did you go to school in Temple Oak College?
Yeah, yeah. Only down the road from yourself as well, I believe.
Yeah, McDarra's man. McDarra's all the way. How are you finding this lockdown?
Um, Good actually for the most part. Yeah, I'm not finding it too bad. I'm finding like I have a lot more time at the moment to be productive, and I'm actually trying to use the time as best I possibly can, to be honest. So yeah, not too bad.
That's important, and I guess for everyone, which is the main reason why you're here, is what do you actually do?
Well, first and foremost is the music side of things. So I basically just make electronic music
Right,
from my bedroom and put it out to the world and hope that some people like it.
right,
That's
right.
always the goal.
Super, super. And like, so what? Do you have an actual company, or is it just an Instagram page? Then at the moment that you're hoping to grow.
So yeah, I've basically set up a brand. It's called Loguos. I actually started it with a mate of mine back in the day, but it's since just turned into just it being myself.
Okay.
Um, it's not an actual company. I haven't actually set it up or registered or anything. So it's just kind of myself operating it at the moment. But yeah, so like I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of crack, and
Cool.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest as well.
And then how can people find you? What's your username?
It's Logos Music, and
Right.
Logos is
So
spelled Loguos as well. Some people
perfect.
get caught out by that little silent U in the middle.
There you go. That's what I was thinking because I saw that
Yeah,
myself and I was like, how do you pronounce it?
yes.
Yeah,
Some
like
people call it like Loguos or something before. They think I'm or Loguos or something. They think I'm Spanish or something.
so then what inspired you? Like, are you in college at the moment or
Yeah, man. So I'm in college as well in third year in UCD,
okay, what are you studying?
business and law. So
Right.
like it's busy enough to be honest, but I try and kind of keep a balance as much as I can between both the music and the college side of things as well.
Right. And are you doing the business and law course to back up what you're doing with your music, or is the music just a side hobby then or
Um, it's a good question. Like I started the music mainly as a hobby, but for me now it's turning into something a bit more than that. So I'm trying to give it a good go as much as I can. But yeah, like I mean, the degree was first and foremost, I guess, to have a piece of paper to maybe try and get a job in the future if if I need to go and do that.
Hmm.
Well, obviously the dream is that I won't necessarily have to go down, let's say, the corporate route or whatever that is. But that's the dream, that's the hope. So just have to wait and see how everything turns out, I guess.
Well, like I know for certain, I never wanted to do the whole 9 to 5 thing, like 100%. And I just can't imagine. And obviously, you're the same, sitting in an office 9 to 5 and just hating your job. And I know personally, if I was you, and that's obviously what you're doing at the moment, you're taking action and you're going and you're doing what you love, which is great. But do you think it's important to have that safety net there, which is that business and law course, like so you can go and like full tilt at your music, and if it doesn't work out, you do have your degree.
Yeah, I suppose when I first decided to go to college after school, that's probably how I was thinking. I was more thinking along the lines of I need to make sure that I have something here in case, you know, something goes wrong or something doesn't work out with the other things that I'm trying to do. But I mean, it just depends really. I mean, if you're someone that is committed and passionate enough about something, I think if you put the time in and put the work in, it's not always guaranteed, but you know, at least trying to get on the right track might give you an idea of where you can go with it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like essential to have a safety net as such. I think everyone, once they are committed and put in a bit of work to whatever it is that they're doing, you're going to make something out of it, either way. So
100%.
um,
Yeah.
that's how I approach it. But I mean, yeah, at the same time, I am still treating it as a safety net, as you say.
Mm. Yeah, like that's great to have. That's absolutely brilliant. I mean, like to do it in UCD as well. That's a great course. Like I wish I had done business, to be honest, when I look back at it. But at the same time, I believe everything happens for a reason. Like I did sports science and Tala, and what happened was, I've said it loads of times at this stage, but when I was in sixth year, I filled out the CAO form totally wrong. So I did better than I thought I was actually going to do. So I was wanted marketing in Tala. That was something like 330 points or something. and I was like, I should get that. I was like, I'm pretty, confident I'll get that. But I think I got like 400, and the sports science course is 380. But I just put it in there just for laugh. I was like, I can just add that to the list. And obviously, then once you get your like the highest amount of points possible in the highest course, everything below it is cut off, and you don't have the option of getting it. So I was left there
Yeah.
on the day just going, can I not do marketing? Now I thought I got enough points to do it. So, like for me anyway,
I've always found that system bizarre as well, man. How
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
If you get your top option, everything else drops off after.
gone. You don't have a
Yeah.
choice, which is
I mean, I understand
absolutely
that
crazy.
that's why they tell you at the start to make sure that you're putting your preferred one first. But I mean, I know a lot of people that have had the situation of they thought they wanted to do one thing and then all of a
Exactly,
sudden they realize
exactly.
that that's gone, you know? So,
You're 18, well, 17, 18. How the hell are you supposed to know what you want to do? Fair enough. Like, okay, some people might have an advantage. They might see their parents working in a job, or they might see someone they admire. Like, okay, that's the route I want to go. But like, I know myself personally, and like I'm 21, but I've worked like 7 or 8 different jobs, and it took me that long to go, right, this is what I want to do. I want to go coaching kids. I want to own my own business or whatever. But it's like, how do they expect you to make that decision? Which could change your whole life, by the way. Like, let's not underestimate it. At that age, it's crazy,
yeah,
isn't it? Like, it's mad.
it's an insane amount of pressure as well to be under to try and make that decision at such a young age. You know, you talk about people being 18 years old and being adults. It's still extremely young to be making such a big decision. So, you know, it's no wonder that students are stressed and feeling under pressure coming up to those exams and up to making their decisions about college as well, you know?
Oh yeah. And like for you, then obviously you set up Loguos Music, the Instagram page, and everything. Like, and you said you were working with someone before on it. But do you think it's easier now that you're out by yourself? That you have full control.
Yeah, definitely. Things kind of worked out in a strange way, but I think they kind of worked out for the best in a sense. I mean, when we started it together, it was something completely different to what I'm doing now.
Okay.
So even just musically, we were kind of working in the pop world in a way, which probably wasn't what I was initially interested in.
Okay.
And then once my my mate basically went off and was doing his own thing, it actually gave me a bit of time to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. So I'm much happier, I guess, with where I am now and what I'm making than I was at the very start. So I guess that's a huge positive from it all.
Yeah, yeah, and but I think a big step or important step rather is people don't realize sometimes that you have to make mistakes to realize where you want to go. And I know with me, I've made lots of them, and like I'm honest enough to say it, and obviously you are too. But it's like, as you were saying, that guy would ever wanted to make pop music, and that's fine. Like, and that's absolutely
Yeah,
fine. But like, then you realize, no, it's what I want to do. I want to make my electronic music, so that's the way I want to go. But sometimes you maybe have to work for a year, 2 years to realize, oh shit, this isn't what I want to do. But people are so afraid to go and take a risk as such, or to even just try anything that might be out of the ordinary, aren't they?
that's yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself, to be honest. I mean, you learn from everything that you end up doing, you know, and I learned a lot from when I first started that and how we kind of set things up and how we were taking control of everything. But, you know, that was 2 years ago now. I mean, I've learned a hell of a lot more um, because of that and after the situation, you know, and I feel like I'm in a better place now as a result. So,
Yeah, yep. That's very important to realize. Um, yeah. So obviously, you told us your social media page is on Instagram. Like, is that your main focus at the moment? Just putting music up on there, or do you have YouTube as well? Oh, you said Spotify, don't you? Sorry.
yeah, so there's songs and stuff up on Spotify, YouTube, all that kind of crack. Still kind of getting going in a way. I'm hoping, like I've set myself goals anyway for this year. So fingers crossed, if everything goes well, there'll be a few more tunes up over the next couple of months. But um, yeah, like wherever people listen to their music, it should be there. I hope anyway. It's supposed to be.
There you go, brilliant. You mentioned there setting goals. How important is that to you?
Massively, massively. Um, like don't get me wrong now, I'm not someone that's, you know, sticks to a strict schedule with a goal where I'm going to say, right, I'm going to give this particular goal like 6 hours of my day today. But I do make sure to keep track of, you know, I guess bigger things that I have in mind and goals that I can at least just work towards, and every now and again reassess and see where I am and see if I'm basically getting any closer to reaching them. So
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of
then
how I like to operate.
yeah, no, like because I do so myself, and if I didn't set goals, I don't think I'd do half as much as I do, and it's so important. Like, but do you actually write them down, or is it just a mental thing where you're going, okay, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it at this time?
Yeah, a bit of both. So what I make sure to do at the start of every year is to kind of like physically write down goals that I've got for that year, based on where I am at the start of the year. Um, but as the year goes by, I may not be, writing down things every month, let's say, but I'm continually thinking about if I've hit them, what do I need to do to make sure that I hit them in the next couple of months or whatever it is. And then if I end up hitting a goal, tick it off the list and try and think of something else that I can go after.
That's brilliant, because that's the question I always ask people: is do you write them down? Because I write mine out every morning and every night. I make sure it's like I'm embedding them in my head. I learned that from like a mentor of mine who taught me about goal setting. But like there was a study done in America, Jesus, I don't know how many years ago. I think it was in the early 1990s. But they took a year from a course in Philadelphia or something in America, and it was some business course, and they followed them throughout their life. And basically they were taught goal setting in the first year of their university. They were all whatever 18, 19, and then they were followed through until they were like 30. And 97% of the course were like surviving, but they couldn't like survive past their next paycheck. So for example, if something like the coronavirus happened, like they'd be screwed. Then I think
Yeah.
3% of them, or it was something like 1% of the people actually set goals, but they didn't write them out, and they were earning double 97%. So whatever, say the average was 30,000, like the 1% that set goals but didn't write them down were earning 60,000 or whatever, and then the remaining 2% or 3% were earning tenfold who actually wrote down goals. So when I read that, I was like, right, first of all, is this legit? And I went and looked it up and everything, and it was. And I was like, holy God, that's amazing. But I guess the whole idea behind it is just every day you're reminding yourself and you're embedding it in your head. It's like you have no choice. So it's like constantly you're going to the shops, you're thinking about something, or you're in class. Like I found when I was in college in Tala doing sports science, I'd be sitting back in the room or whatever, like, I don't know, we'd be doing nutrition or something, and I'd just be thinking about the business and be like, oh, okay, I could do this. And like, okay, sometimes maybe that's not good because you should be learning about the nutrition. But like, I think writing out is very important.
That's fascinating. I hadn't even heard that before, to be honest. But I guess it just goes to show the importance of actually writing down the things that you want to achieve. I
Yeah,
mean, there's no point having it loosely just floating around. It's important to actually think about these things and think it through.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But it's like another thing is you have to take risks, and obviously, like, okay, I haven't took much of a risk. Like, I really haven't. But people will say like, oh, why you setting up that whatever music production or company, or why you make music, or why you after setting up that business coaching kids. Like, are you sure you're gonna make money from it? Like, it's unbelievable how negative people are. Do you find that? Like, do people ever doubt you, or they comment on it, or?
Yeah, it's my overall experience so far is that everyone's very supportive, and the people that like the music will get on to me and tell me that they like it. People that don't like the music, that's some people tell me, and some people just keep it to themselves. But that's grand. I mean, music is objective. It's not supposed to, or subjective even. It's not supposed to be something that everybody will like.
True.
Um, but my overall reaction has been pretty positive. The only thing that I think people view it as is it's like a hobby. It's not something that you're ever going to do. It's more something that you're just interested in, so you're giving it a lash. um and there's no problem with that. I mean, for a lot of people that is what music is, but I guess I'd love for it to be something more. So it can be a bit disheartening sometimes when you get the feeling that people are just looking at you thinking, he's just, he's ticking away. Like every now and again, he's pushing a few buttons on a DJ controller, and he's just having a bit of crack with it. Whereas, I like to think at some point in the future it will become more than that. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's been pretty positive, to be honest, man. I haven't experienced any major negativity towards what I'm doing or anything, so which is great. Like,
That's brilliant. Like you have to surround yourself with positive people as well. Like that's so important. And that's one thing I found I just had to do because like even my family could say it, like, and they wouldn't mind me saying is like even they were like, "Oh, you sure this is the right thing to do?" But it's a protective, like it's just a protective thing. Like they're trying to protect you. They're like, "Are you sure this is the right decision?" So sometimes you have to go, right, this is my decision and that's it. And obviously, like both of us are doing that, and you're doing your music, and that's great. But it's like would one of your goals now be to go performing? Like, are you performing as a DJ already in certain locations, or are you just lashing stuff up on Spotify and YouTube?
To any club setting really, which is where I'd love to be, in terms of just playing out, some of my tunes and then a few others as well, just on the night. But I've been doing a lot of gigs last year in Whelan's, the likes of the Workmans, all that kind of crack.
Yeah.
That was more for myself to get a bit of experience, basically up on stage and doing a bit of DJing. But it was all my own stuff, so I love to get into doing, gigs where it's in a bigger club and there's actually the room is packed and there's people loving the kind of music. So that's a goal I've had in mind. So obviously the current pandemic has kind of set that back a little bit at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be back there in no time and try and work back towards it again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, do you now like when it comes to like playing in Whelan's and Workmans and stuff like that? In order to play there, are you just emailing them and constantly just harassing them, say, "Come on, will you let me play?" Or is it them approaching you because they've seen your social media or your Spotify or YouTube?
Yeah, it's been mainly them approaching me. It tends to be people basically on the lookout for new talent, and it's the nights that I would have been playing would have been people that are looking to support local Irish music, either just in general or even just in the electronic space. Not sure if you've heard of a band called The Galaxy.
I have a few.
They're an Irish band, yeah. So there's a lad from there called Michael Pope. He's deadly. He was running a night there in Whelan's last year, and he was getting on to me nearly every second week, being like, "Man, come back and do another set for me."
Brilliant. Oh, can you? I don't know. There's something. Is your iPad or phone on a? The microphone's being covered. I think, man. I don't know. Is it resting on something? Or?
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Perfect.
Better.
Perfect.
Sorry, man.
No, no bother at all. So you were saying? So he was asking to come back every 2 weeks, was it?
Yeah. So Michael Pope was very supportive. He got in touch with me first, maybe in September or so, I think. Um, and basically ever since then, he was asking me to come back every 2 weeks and do another set for him.
Brilliant.
So he was
Brilliant.
dead supportive, like, and it's good in a sense. There is people watching out for that and trying to get you involved in the industry and the scene in general.
And yeah, like 100%. Like, and what's funny is like even I started up this podcast and I was just going right because like in my business in particular, it's all a service where you're meeting people face to face. So I was working 7 days a week and then it just went. So now you're just doing nothing. So like I was
Yeah.
sitting here going, what can I do? And I'd written a book and I was like, well, that's done. So I don't have that to work on. Like maybe I could start writing another one, but is it too soon? So then I went, right, I'll start a podcast. And obviously then you're going to have people going, oh, what's he doing? And it's that whole same feeling, like where you're maybe thinking, oh, the people judging me making music or whatever. I was just like, oh, I'm going to do it anyway. But I just thought it was the perfect time to start it because of this pandemic. It was the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
So it's like for you at the moment, are you just focusing straight on social media, just trying to develop it because obviously it's the only thing you can do?
Um, kind of. So, in terms of college, like it's just mad, to be quite honest. It's hard to keep up with everything, but on a daily basis, there's stuff coming in, and I'm trying to prepare for exams and assignments that are happening in May. In terms of the music, though, I'm don't know how much I should be saying, but like there's tunes on the way which I'm kind of working out with a label and a few other people that I'm working with at the moment. So that's kind of been my main focus now for a while, just trying to get the ball rolling on those kind of things and try and have music out in a few months. Um,
Brilliant.
from the social media front as well, yeah, like I know, don't get me wrong, social media is so important, and I know that, but I just haven't put as much effort into it as I know I should be.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to come up with clever new ways of getting people to come to the page or to engage with it.
Yeah.
Like just the other night, I've started doing polls and everything that people seem to be voting on, which is great. So it's actually, I end up having a chat with a few people who are messaging me after, giving me their opinions and everything. So, yeah, like I completely didn't answer your question, but like,
No, you did. You
as
did.
much as
No, you did.
as much as I can on a daily basis, I guess I'm just trying to tick away at a few different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I know myself, I had to focus on my social media as well because it's like, see, there has to be a fine balance, in my opinion. It's like, how much can you put up all these posts on social media and whatever? You could have 200,000 followers, but how many of them are actually going to invest in your service or invest in your product? And it's like, I look at like any girl, my neighbor could go and start up an Instagram page and be a fitness person and put up a few pictures in a bikini, and all of a sudden they have 2,000 followers. Like it's crazy. So it's like you have
yeah,
to kind of judge
yeah,
the importance of it. But I was like, right, I was like, how can I go and develop my social media? So we started on Instagram, and I think this day last week I had 500 followers, and then today I have 2,200, and like people
Jeez,
can.
that's a massive growth, man. Well done.
It is, but man, like whatever about like, and this is just being honest, like a girl, as I said, can whack up a picture of her arse or whatever, and she'll just, it would grow like that. But all I
Yeah,
did was, and you can do something similar, and it's a grind. I have to say, I've spent numerous hours, probably 2 or 3 a day, on and off throughout the day. I went into like people that follow me already, go to their friends, and if I see that they're a mom or a dad, I'd follow them because then they have a child and they might be interested in my page, and then they'd follow me back. So it's like I was doing that for the last week, and it's grown 1,500. Now, people will say, "Oh, that's outrageous! Like, why would you bother when you can just put up pictures and use hashtags?" I've done that, and it doesn't work. So I guess for you, like, and maybe people are doing this, but they're just afraid to tell people that, "Oh, I spent 3 hours a day trying to get followers," and they're ashamed. But it's like that's the only way I
no,
was getting it, you know?
yeah, no. If you're getting people to come to your page that are actually going to engage with you and be interested in what you have to offer, of
Oh
course, like
yeah,
that's a valid way to do
oh
it,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's a
Sure, you
grind,
hear
like.
other stories of people spending money to go and buy their followers off some fake page, and they've just got a load of bots coming to their accounts. I mean, that's no good either. So
Yep. Yeah, no, it's not. But it's like, then again, I can understand why people would go, and maybe because there's certain things when you reach like 10K where you can do a swipe up link and stuff. And I get 100% understand why some people would be like, if they're getting sponsored by a whatever, a new company that has leggings out or something. Now,
yeah,
assuming that they might notice that they're all bots and people mightn't actually be engaging, but like if they buy 10,000 and they can do a swipe up link, someone might be like, oh, well, we can sponsor her or something. So it's like,
yeah,
but the fact that people have to rely on followers is mad, and even the fact I'm going and doing that is crazy. But it gets more people to see your page, and I guess with you,
yeah,
what you can do is like type into your search bar hashtag whatever, like DJing or electronic music, and follow people that follow that hashtag. It could be a start, and
yeah.
obviously now you have college work and all, but it's an option, you know.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I've looked into it as well before. To be honest, I just haven't put enough time into it to
Mm.
try and build it. I guess one of the main things for me is trying to grow myself on Spotify in a way. So I find as a musician, that's so important in terms of actually trying to get people to listen to the music.
Oh yeah,
So for example, my Instagram page doesn't have a lot of followers, but I like to think that the people that are following me are quite interested and engaged with the music that I'm putting out.
yeah.
But then Spotify, there's opportunities there for your music to reach way more people than I currently have on social media. Like
So
last year
yeah,
I
like how
had
does that
over
work?
100. So the main thing is basically pitching to the editors of Spotify playlists, basically, and just trying to get to tell them about why they should listen to your music and why they should consider maybe putting you on a playlist and all that kind of crack.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
that's how it would work as someone who's a smaller independent artist like myself. Whereas obviously when you're signed to a label, then you've got a bit of power behind you to try. They'll do the groundwork for you. Um, but yeah, like last year in 2019, there was over 100,000 people listening to my stuff,
Well,
which is daily considering I've only got 600 odd followers on Instagram. So I mean, don't get me wrong, Instagram is very important, and I definitely plan to try and grow it in the future. But at the moment, I'm also focusing on just getting that music out there to as many people as I can.
that says it all. That answer says it all. Like if you have 100,000 people listen to your music, that's all, that says everything. That's absolutely brilliant. Like, that's amazing. Yeah. Like how were you able to track that? Did you have like an analysis when you're uploading music and it could go into a certain page and see, is it?
Yeah, you've got these apps and all these stats and everything that tells you, you know, where people are listening from. They give you like city and country breakdowns. They give you, um, you know, how long they're listening to you for, what playlists they're listening to you on, all that kind of
Daily.
crack. So you get the full breakdown of what's going on.
Daily. Did you find it was mainly Irish people, or did you have any mad countries?
Irish was a big one, yeah. I had a load from Taiwan last year, around kind of like July, August, September. um,
Jesus.
Australia has been big for house music as well. Actually, I think they
Right.
love all their house and electronic stuff down there.
Brilliant.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I've had a few mad ones anyway.
So then, would you be looking at that then and going, right, is there like any like playlist specific to people in Taiwan or to people in Australia that I should be pitching to, like for certain people?
Yeah, to an extent. So they don't necessarily give you the option to pitch to certain playlists, and you only get to pitch before you release a certain song. So
Okay.
once the song is up, it's kind of out of your hands as to what Spotify will do with it, you know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I get the sense that if you're working with a label or something, there'll be more discretion there to kind of wiggle your way into playlists as you move along.
Right.
Um, but the truth is that I haven't got too much of a clue about that side of things just yet. But
It's
uh,
all to come.
yeah,
All to come.
absolutely.
So then you're saying like it's obviously important to get matched with a label. So once again, is it like as I was saying with Whelan's and the likes, are you messaging them, or is it like you're putting out your music on Spotify and YouTube and you're just waiting, you're hoping that label's going to come to you?
Yeah, it depends. Like after last year, I had a few people getting in touch with me about what I'm doing and um, you know, asking me if I've got any more tracks on the way and all that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's more about being aware, I guess, of the different labels that there are. And let's say
Okay.
if I've got a certain track that I think would be really suited to a certain label, I'll try and pitch it to them and say, you know, I think this might work. Um, Now I haven't gone that far. I'm sitting on a lot of stuff at the moment, um, but I'm kind of working things out at the moment with you know a few tunes that I'm just trying to get moving, and we'll see what happens from there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant, I have to say, because like I'm very interested in like promoting myself on Spotify and everything, especially because there's podcasts and all. And it's like that's what I was thinking. I was like, hold on for a second. So how do I get people to listen to this? Is it simply just me posting on like my Instagram? Okay, I have a podcast up on Spotify, and people go and click on it. But I'm like, what if there's just someone in, for example, like you said, in Taiwan or in Australia that wants to listen to it, or they see it? Like, how do they come across it? So yeah, like it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a great tool. I'm not too sure about the podcast side of things, but
Yeah,
um, like the tools and everything are there, man, to try and utilize. Basically, like it's a great service when you think about it. That you could have the potential to reach people from something that you've after making, you know, at home or whatever. Um, I just find that mad. Like, don't get me wrong. There's hours put into what you're doing,
mm,
but at the same time, it's mad that here's me sitting in my bedroom in Dublin, and there's someone listening to me over in Mexico City. Like, you know.
it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And I think, like for me, I was like, right, if I can try and get a certain CPM, whatever, on spot podcast and get paid for it, and like I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy. Like I'm only talking to people, and like I'm getting informed on certain things when I'm doing it. It's brilliant. But it's like
Yeah.
for you, is this like a while you're in college? Is this your job? Like to keep you living? Like, are you making money from it? You don't have to answer that, by the way. But
Yeah, no, I'm not making too much money off it. Made a little bit, but it's like barely made a dent in the investment that I've put into it so far. Because you know it does take a bit of money to kind of get going on it. Like there's
of
a lot of
course,
equipment stuff and different things that you need to pay for. But no, so I'm not making any kind of a living off it. I've been working in retail as well for about 4 or 5 years now, so that's kind of my job on the side to keep me going, I guess, through everything as well.
and once again, that's important to go and realize that you're going to have to maybe work a part-time job as well while you're doing it. Like people think that it's just if you set up a company or if you set up a whatever, as you're saying, like you're trying to like promote your awareness and music that you're making. They're like, oh, you must be making money. Like it must be grand, or you can do that while you're in college. No, you need to be working probably 30
Yeah,
hours a week to fund all this. People don't realize
Yeah.
that. So then they go to do it themselves and they're like, oh, right. So all of a sudden they
Absolutely.
appreciate it way more, isn't that right? Like, there's a reason why it's only a small percentage of people that do it.
There's a deadly artist over in the UK called Barney Artist. He's a rapper. And he posts about this all the time. Like he works full time in a retail store, despite the fact that he's got millions of streams on Spotify. So, it's just hard to get your head around. People might think, oh, millions of streams, sure, he's made it, like he's doing bits. But when you actually get down to it, like you're not making a whole lot of money off that. And it does take another job or something to basically keep you going through it all as well.
Yeah, like people don't realize. It's just funny because I think a podcast like this will open people's eyes. They'll just be like, "Oh, right, okay." And I think, like, I don't know, there's a mate of mine, Ronald Graham, and he's after setting up like a music production company, and he's kind of in the same boat where he's trying to grow his Instagram page and everything, and I'm looking at it and it's growing, it's brilliant, and like he's put so much work into that, but like I haven't seen him in ages, and I know that it's because of that. He's so busy, like he's just working hard basically, but
Yeah.
it's like he's investing so much time into that, and I believe he's gonna make it successful or whatever. But you're gonna have that time where it's like you just feel like you don't want to do it sometimes, and that's all right too.
Without a doubt, man. Like everyone has those days as well. It's
Yeah,
important to know and understand.
yeah,
It's not all going to be plain sailing.
yeah. If it was, everyone would do. Isn't that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, man, that was great. I have to say, like, keep it short, keep it simple. It's very practical. So once again, your Instagram is Logus Music. So LOG, is it UOS or OUS?
UOS, yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. And is that on YouTube and Spotify as well? Just type in Logus Music, is it?
Yeah, just logos on Spotify and YouTube and all that kind of crack. And the handles
Brilliant.
on social media will be Logos
Everywhere.
Music, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, look, that's brilliant. Thanks so much. And sure, look, I'll keep in touch with you on Instagram as well because I know what you're doing as well, and I'll go listen to a bit of your music. So,
Yeah,
sure, look,
once again, man, thanks very much for having me on. You're an absolute gent. Appreciate
oh,
it.
well, I'll keep safe, man. Yeah, talk soon. Good luck.